Today I'm going to be comparing Derwent and Faber Castell graphite pencils, so I really hope that you do enjoy this video, and I also have the affiliate links to the materials that I'm using in this video if you want to go and check them out and support me further on the channel. And don't forget that I do also have my social media links down below as well. So let's take a look at them side by side and work out which ones are the best. So first of all, we are going to be talking about build quality, and I'm just showing you the Derwent pencils on the screen right now. And Derwent is a very popular brand, so I definitely was expecting them to be quite good quality. And when you actually take them out of the tin and look at them for the first time, they do appear to be good quality. And they had the lead which was centered in the wood casing. That's important because you want to make sure that the lead is not off-centered, because if it is, then it can cause breakages. And there was also a protective barrel on the end of the pencils as well, and that's important because if you accidentally drop the pencils, they're less likely to shatter the lead inside. And if we actually take a look at them side by side, they are very much on par with each other in terms of the quality, I feel, and I did order the set of 12 for both pencils as well. So if we take a closer look at the Faber Castell graphite pencils, this is the set of 12 pencils, and like the Derwent pencils, I think that they are a good build quality too, and they are just like sort of like normal standard pencils. I wasn't overly worried about the quality themselves. They do appear to be quite sturdy pencils. The lead was centered in the wood casing. They also have a protective barrel on the end of them, and I've used both pencils many times for graphite drawings and I don't have any concerns with the actual build quality. And I'm just showing you some up close shots of these pencils too, just so you can get an idea of what they look like and the quality that you're going to be expecting. Then of course you can buy multiple different sets of both pencil brands as well. There's some smaller sets and also larger sets, and I believe you can also buy these pencils open stock as well, so as individual pencils. When I sharpen the pencils, they both hold the point really well as well, so they both stay quite sharp for longer. And when I actually try them out in the sharpener, they sharpen really well with my helical sharpener. I use the Derwent Superpoint manual sharpener. They hold their point well, and even the pencils that are softer lead hold their point well as well. And I'm just going to be testing these pencils out with a few different materials as well. So we've got some blending stumps, paintbrushes, and also an eraser as well. So I'm just going to show you how well both of them work. We're going to start with the Derwent. I've got the HB, which is the lightest pencil from this set. And I'm just going to start to do some little swatches of these pencils just to show you sort of like the value scale and how they work with the techniques as well. Now I am using the Derwent 6B pencil, which is one of the darkest pencils in this set, and the 6B you would use mainly for like your darkest areas in a drawing. Then we're using the Faber Castell graphite pencils, and we're starting with the HB pencil. I noticed that this pencil was a lot more scratchy than the Derwent. The Derwent felt softer, so I actually got like a smoother result with the Derwent, whereas with the Faber Castell graphite pencils, they did feel a little bit more on like the scratchy, harder side. And again, I'm just doing some swatches, so I'm doing a 5B pencil for the Faber Castell. Then we're going back to Derwent and I'm doing another swatch there, and I'm using one of the pencils to do this. I'm just swatching this and creating several layers, and then I'm taking a paintbrush. This probably wasn't the best type of paintbrush to use. I definitely would recommend using a paintbrush with firmer bristles, but I couldn't find one and I was trying to obviously do this demonstration. So I'm just using this paintbrush to blend, and it was pretty much a complete fail doing this because the paintbrush wasn't right, but I did find a paintbrush later on, and both the Derwent and Faber Castell graphite pencils blended out much better with a new paintbrush. Then I am taking the Derwent pencil again, and I'm just creating another swatch next to the one that I tried to blend with that paintbrush, and I'm going to be trying to blend this out with a blending stump, which definitely was much better than the paintbrush because it was a lot firmer, and I definitely got better results with blending with a blending stump. So now let's move on to Faber Castell. I'm doing the same thing that I did for the Derwent pencil, and we're just creating a swatch. Now, as I said, the first thing that I noticed with this was that it gave a lot more of a scratchier feel than the Derwent. The graphite wasn't as soft. However, I did actually find that this pencil blended out better than the first Derwent pencil with the paintbrush, which I was quite surprised about. It did seem to blend a lot easier in my opinion. And then we're just creating another swatch, which I am going to blend with a blending stump again. So I'm just swatching this with the pencil, and then I'm taking the same blending stump and I am just gently blending this. And I feel like they're pretty much on par with each other in terms of blending, but the Derwent blended out better with the blending stump and the Faber Castell blended out with the paintbrush better in my opinion. Okay, so then we are moving on to actually trying this with an eraser. So I'm starting with the Derwent pencils and I'm just creating some swatches there, and I'm wanting to obviously show you the results that you're going to get when you use an eraser. And I'm also creating some swatches with the Faber Castell Graphite pencil as well. I am taking the Tombow Mono Eraser. This is one of my favourite erasers for creating highlights, particularly when I'm drawing animals, because I like to get quite specific highlights in my drawings. And I first started with actually erasing the lightest swatch of the Derwent and also the Faber Castell. And I can honestly say that I got really similar results with both. I think I actually got a better result with the Faber Castell graphite pencils than the Derwent, but it's really not that noticeable, and I still felt like I got a good result with the Derwent. So I'm just going to be talking a little bit more about the sharpener as well, because I think this is quite important. So I actually do have a few sharpeners, but this is my most popular sharpener. It's my go-to sharpener, and this is the Derwent Helical Manual Sharpener, and I love using this sharpener. So first of all, I am testing obviously the Derwent pencils, and we're going to be testing the Faber Castell pencils as well. And I'm just showing you some side-by-side shots of the pencils before and after being sharpened and sort of like the results that you're going to get. So now I'm going to be testing the value, so I'm going to be going through the pencils in the sets and just showing you what you can expect. We're starting with Derwent, and I'm just going through from a 2H all the way up to the darkest shade that we have in this set. And when I was actually using these pencils, I did notice that they felt relatively soft. It actually felt like I was using charcoal pencils, particularly when I started to get to some of the really dark shades, whereas with the Faber Castell pencils, I definitely felt they were a lot more scratchy, and there is definitely a difference between them in terms of how they feel and how they lay on the paper. Then when we move over to the Faber Castell pencils, the first thing that I noticed was actually they were obviously a lot more harder, so the lead felt harder, they were a lot more scratchy, but also I felt that these pencils were a lot lighter in terms of their shades, and to me that's a good thing, because particularly if I'm wanting to preserve some lighter areas, I don't want to go in with too much of a darker tone, and I do feel like you have to be careful with the Derwent pencils because they did come out a lot darker. But on the other hand, I also really liked the Derwent because they did feel a lot and appear a lot darker than the Faber Castells in my opinion, and I had to apply a lot more layers in order to get the same darkness from the Faber Castell. And then we're going to test the details. So I'm starting with the Derwent pencils, and what I noticed even when I was using the lightest pencils was that they weren't the best at getting sharp lines, so a lot of my lines were coming out thick and fuzzy, whereas with the Faber Castell pencils the lines did appear a lot more sharper and smoother even when I went to some of the darker shades. So overall I feel like both of the pencil sets are great. I would give the edge to the Faber Castell graphite pencils because I feel that they are better for details, and also I like the fact that the values are a lot lighter than the Derwent pencils, but I do like using the Derwent pencils for a lot more darker effects and shadows and things like that, and I will use both of them together. But I would honestly say that both of these sets are really good. You'd be happy with either one. It just depends on what is more important to you in terms of testing these products out. So if you're somebody that likes particularly detailed work, the Faber Castell graphite pencils might be better for you because they are better at holding their detail and their fine point. But anyway, I really hope that you did enjoy this comparison video. If you've got any other ideas for videos, please let me know, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel because it really helps me out. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!